Welcome to Rare Breed Brotherhood. A lion doesn't turn around when a small dog barks. That quote might sound arrogant, but for a Sigma male, it's a way of life. In a world that demands constant noise, validation, and performance, Sigma men move differently. They are silent operators, not out of shyness or fear, but by choice. They don't care to prove their worth to anyone. They build it in silence. This isn't about trying to be edgy or mysterious. It's about survival, strategy, and clarity. While most men are busy chasing approval, Sigmas are observing the game from a distance. They're not loud, they're calculating. They're not the loudest in the room, but often the ones pulling the strings in ways no one sees. Think about the guy who doesn't show up to every party, but when he does, he's unforgettable. The man who disappears for months and returns with a new business, a new skill, or a new mindset. That's Sigma energy. Quiet, focused, and slightly dangerous in the best way possible. And no, Sigma males aren't perfect. They struggle too. Isolation can become a trap if not managed. Emotional detachment can create distance in relationships. But the strength lies in their self-awareness and refusal to fold for comfort. If you've ever felt like you didn't quite belong, like you see the world from a slightly different angle, this video is for you. Not to label you, but to remind you, you're not crazy, you're calculated. Watch until the end. There's power in knowing who you really are. Let's dive in. Rare breeds. Number 1. They reject status, but know exactly how it works. See, Sigma males aren't out here trying to be the boss, the alpha, or the center of attention. They don't care if you call them a leader or even notice them at all. But don't confuse that with ignorance. They understand status deeply. They just refuse to be controlled by it. Most people chase titles because they think it will earn them respect. They want to be seen as someone, manager, CEO, influencer, whatever sounds shiny enough to impress strangers. But a Sigma male? He doesn't care about the nameplate on his desk. He cares about power that's quiet, influence that doesn't need an audience. He studies how people move, who listens to who needs to be seen, and who already knows their worth. And then he uses that knowledge to move through the system without getting stuck in it. Imagine a guy at a company who barely talks during meetings. While others are fighting for airtime and clapping back just to sound smart, he's watching, listening, learning. He understands the office politics better than anyone else, and when he finally speaks, it's short, calm, and hits like a punch. Suddenly, everyone listens. That's not luck, that's strategy. A Sigma male won't compete for status. He'll bypass the race altogether. He doesn't want the crown, he wants to own the chessboard. And when he does play the game, it's on his terms, with rules he rewrote in silence. This is what makes Sigma males so dangerous in the best way. They're not blinded by ego. They're not desperate for attention. But they can take over quietly, while everyone else is distracted by the spotlight. So if you've ever felt like you don't fit into the social ladder, maybe you're not supposed to climb it. Maybe you're supposed to design your own. That's Sigma thinking. Watch this video. You'll start seeing the game a whole lot clearer. Number 2, they don't react. They observe, then strike. Most people live on autopilot. Someone disrespects them, they snap. Someone disagrees, they argue. Someone posts something online, they feel the need to respond. Sigma males, they don't play that game. They don't react just because the world expects them to. They watch, quietly, patiently. And then, when the time is right, they make a move so sharp and calculated it leaves people speechless. See, a Sigma doesn't raise his voice in an argument. He won't jump into petty drama or try to prove he's right. Instead, he studies everything. The tone in your voice, the shift in your behavior, the reason behind the reason. He breaks down people the way an engineer breaks down a machine, with quiet precision. Let's say he's in a heated conversation at work. Everyone's throwing opinions around, defending their ego. The Sigma? He's calm. He listens. He watches who gets defensive, who follows who's insecure, who's pretending to know more than they do. And while they waste energy fighting for attention, he's putting together a mental blueprint of how the whole room operates. Then, maybe not today, maybe not even next week, he acts. One smart email, one phone call, one conversation with the right person behind closed doors. And just like that, the situation shifts in his favor. Not because he was loud, but because he was smart. That's the difference. Sigma males don't chase quick wins. They want precision. They want impact. And they know emotion clouds judgment. So while the world gets caught in the chaos, they study the pattern. This is what makes them so powerful. They don't flinch. They don't beg to be heard. They strike when everyone else thinks they've disappeared. If you've ever felt like you'd rather wait and hit once than react 100 times, then you already know this is Sigma energy. Keep watching. It's just the quietest ones always change the game. Number 3, they don't burn bridges. They demolish the whole blueprint. When most people feel betrayed, they blow up. They yell, call everyone, post cryptic messages online, and try to get the last word. Not a Sigma male. He won't give you that satisfaction. He won't try to win the argument. He won't ask for closure. He'll go silent. And then, like you never existed, he'll rebuild everything without you in it. Clean, quiet, complete. See, a Sigma doesn't burn bridges. He deletes the entire map. You don't just lose access to him. You lose the version of yourself that ever knew him. He's not trying to make a statement. He's making a decision. And once it's made, there's no turning back. Let's say a friend lies to him or someone disrespects his boundaries. You won't hear shouting. You won't see him try to get even. He'll simply disappear. His energy pulled back. His presence gone. No warning, no drama, just distance so cold it feels like you dreamed him. And here's the thing. He doesn't do it out of pettiness. He does it out of self-respect. A Sigma understands that peace is more valuable than being right. He knows that energy spent arguing is energy he could invest into evolving. And that's what he does. He uses the pain as fuel to become even sharper, more focused, and more dangerous, in silence. When you look for him, he's already moved on. New goals, new mindset, maybe even a new city. You won't even be a footnote. This is what sets Sigmas apart. They don't seek revenge. They remove themselves from the equation completely and win by becoming untouchable. If you've ever felt like walking away was more powerful than proving a point, then you get it. That's not weakness. That's precision. That's Sigma thinking. Keep watching. You'll see how disappearing is sometimes the loudest move you can make. Number 4, they know the price of freedom and pay it daily. People love to talk about freedom like it's some effortless dream, sleeping in, doing whatever you want, answering to no one. Sounds good, right? But real freedom, the kind Sigma males live by, comes with a cost, a heavy one, and they pay that price every single day. See, Sigma males don't want freedom just to be rebels. They want it because they need it. They need space to think, to build, to exist without being boxed in. But that freedom doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It often means walking away from stability, saying no to groupthink, choosing solitude over company, and building a life from the ground up, with no safety net, no applause, and no one to fall back on. Imagine a man who leaves a high-paying job, not because he has another one lined up, but because the job was slowly killing his soul. Imagine him living in a small apartment, eating simple meals, working on his own ideas late into the night while others party or scroll their lives away. That's Sigma freedom, no glamour, just grit. He doesn't chase comfort because he knows comfort is a trap. The more you settle for it, the less you move, the less you risk, and the less you grow. Sigma males would rather feel the sharp edge of discipline than be dulled by routine. There are no cheerleaders for this kind of life, no quick rewards, just long nights, quiet wins, and a deep sense of inner control. And that's what makes it so powerful. Freedom sounds fun, but living it? That's a war with yourself every single day. Sigma males accept that. They don't complain about the cost. They just keep paying it because they know what's on the other side. Power, clarity, and the rare ability to live untouched by the world's expectations. If you've ever craved something real, something fully yours, then you already know. That kind of freedom isn't handed out. It's earned. Watch closely. This is what it really looks like. Number 5. They turn boredom into a laboratory. Most people run from boredom like it's the enemy. They scroll, swipe, binge, distract. Anything to avoid sitting still with their thoughts. But a Sigma male sees boredom differently. To him, it's not a problem to escape. It's a space to create, a blank canvas, a quiet lab where the real work begins. When things slow down, most people panic. They feel useless, lost, or restless. But a Sigma sees that silence as an opportunity. That's when he goes inward. That's when he starts breaking things down, his habits, his thoughts, the world around him. While others are numbing out with noise, he's digging deeper, learning a new language, studying human behavior, mastering a skill no one even knows he's working on. Imagine a guy alone on a weekend. No parties, no texts, no distractions. Most would feel like they're missing out. A Sigma? He sees it as a training ground. Maybe he's reading 5 different books at once, taking notes, experimenting with routines, even asking hard questions about life that most people avoid. That kind of thinking, that's where clarity is born. That's where future moves are planned. He's not bored, he's building. And because he doesn't need to be constantly entertained, he outpaces everyone over time. While others waste hours trying to pass time, the Sigma invests it. And that investment pays back in wisdom, precision, and growth. That's why Sigma males always seem 5 steps ahead. It's not luck. It's the result of countless quiet hours spent sharpening their mind while the world slept on theirs. So the next time you feel bored, stop running from it. Ask yourself, what would a Sigma do with this moment? The answer might change everything. Stay tuned. This is where silent success begins. Number 6. They don't find themselves. They build themselves. Most people spend years trying to find themselves. They chase labels, switch friend groups, jump from one idea to the next, hoping something clicks. But Sigma males, they don't play that game. They're not out here looking for a magical sign or some external validation to tell them who they are. Instead, they build themselves from the ground up, piece by piece, day by day. Sigmas treat their life like a blueprint, not a mystery. They reverse engineer who they want to become. They don't ask, who am I? They ask, who do I want to be and what systems do I need to create to get there? That's a completely different level of thinking. Let's say a Sigma realizes he wants to be more disciplined. He doesn't just hope to feel motivated. He builds a system. He sets his alarm, he cuts distractions, he tracks his progress like a scientist. While others wait for inspiration, he manufactures it. And when it comes to identity, he's not interested in fitting in. He creates his own mold. His values aren't borrowed, they're tested. His habits aren't random, they're refined. Everything he does is intentional. It's all connected to a larger vision that he doesn't need to explain to anyone. He knows that purpose isn't found on a yoga retreat or in a podcast. It's built in the quiet, gritty moments of choosing growth over comfort, clarity over chaos, and direction over distraction. That's what makes Sigma males so powerful. They don't wait for life to hand them meaning. They create it. They aren't hoping to stumble onto a path. They're laying bricks in silence, building their own. If you've ever felt tired of waiting for life to show you the way, this message is for you. You don't need to be found, you need to start building. And this video? It's the blueprint. Number 7. They don't chase, they attract through absence. In a world where everyone is constantly trying to be seen, liked, followed, and validated, Sigma males do something most people can't understand. They disappear, they pull back, they go quiet. Not because they're antisocial or uninterested, but because they know something most people ignore. Scarcity creates value. Sigmas don't chase attention. They don't beg to be noticed. They don't force their presence into spaces where it's not respected. Instead, they step back and let the silence do the talking. Think about it. The more someone is always available, always texting first, always trying to prove their worth, the easier it is to overlook them. But the moment they go quiet, people start to wonder, why did he stop replying? What is he working on? Where did he go? That's not manipulation. That's energy conservation and strategic absence. Let's say a Sigma is in a dating situation. While most guys are flooding someone with messages, compliments, or trying to impress, the Sigma stays grounded. He doesn't overgive. He shows interest without losing self-respect. If things start to feel one-sided or forced, he doesn't chase. He steps back. No games, just standards. And often it's in that space, that pullback, where attraction starts to grow. Because people don't value what's always available. They value what's rare. The same thing happens with friendships, jobs, even social circles. Sigma males don't compete for attention. They let their absence raise questions. And those questions create curiosity. Curiosity creates interest. Interest leads to respect. So while others are burning energy trying to stand out, Sigmas stand still. And ironically, that stillness becomes magnetic. If you've ever felt like giving too much of yourself only made people value you less, take a page from the Sigma mindset. Pull back. Protect your energy. Let your silence become your signature. Watch what happens next. Number 8, they outgrow friendships, relationships, even identities, without guilt. Most people cling to things long after they've expired. Jobs that drain them, friendships that no longer grow, even versions of themselves that no longer make sense. But a Sigma male moves differently. He understands one brutal truth. Growth demands shedding, and when something no longer fits where he's going, he lets it go. Fast, clean, and without guilt. Loyalty is important to him, but it's never blind. He's not going to stay in a friendship just because they go way back. If the energy is off, if the mindset is stuck, if the connection becomes dead weight, he walks. No drama, no shouting match, just distance. Same with relationships. If the dynamic becomes toxic or misaligned, he doesn't beg, chase, or try to force something that's already broken. He doesn't cling to comfort or fear being alone. He's willing to let go, not because he doesn't care, but because he knows holding on to the wrong thing will cost him his mission. Even more rare, he outgrows versions of himself. Maybe he used to be the guy who partied every weekend, or the one who said yes to everything, or even the quiet one who avoided risk. But the Sigma doesn't stay stuck in a role just because it's familiar. If it's time to evolve, he kills the old version without flinching. That kind of self-detachment scares people. To most, it looks cold. But to the Sigma, it's clarity. He doesn't fear endings. He knows they make room for higher-level beginnings. This mindset is not easy. It can get lonely. You'll be misunderstood. You'll be called distant, selfish, even heartless. But a Sigma doesn't owe explanations. He owes results, to himself and to the life he's building. So if you've ever felt the urge to level up but held back because of guilt or loyalty, take this as your sign. Growth isn't always comfortable. But the Sigma knows staying stuck is far worse. Keep watching. This is what self-evolution really looks like. Number 9, they use emotion, but don't let emotion use them. There's a myth about Sigma males, that they're cold, heartless, detached from emotion. But that's not the truth. Sigmas feel deeply. They just don't live in their emotions. They use them as signals, as data, as fuel, but never as a steering wheel. Most people are reactive. They get angry and say things they regret. They get hurt and spiral. They get excited and make reckless decisions. A Sigma male? He pauses. He lets the emotion rise, studies it, understands it, and then chooses his response with full control. Imagine someone insults him in public. The average person might lash out or try to defend their ego on the spot. A Sigma? He might smile, say nothing, or just leave. Not because he's weak, but because he knows that giving the wrong energy to the wrong moment is a waste of power. It's not that Sigmas don't feel sadness, love, frustration, or joy. They feel all of it, but they've trained themselves not to be ruled by it. They know that emotions are temporary, but decisions made in emotion can be permanent. So instead of reacting, they reflect. Instead of exploding, they analyze. Instead of letting emotions control them, they turn them into strategy. For example, heartbreak doesn't make them reckless, it makes them focused. Anger doesn't make them loud, it makes them dangerous in silence. They channel their emotions, not drown in them. That's what makes them powerful. Emotional control is a superpower in a world addicted to drama. And Sigma males master it through discipline, not denial. So if you've ever been told you're too calm or too quiet in moments that shake others, maybe you're not numb. Maybe you're just built different. That's not a flaw. That's Sigma precision. Keep watching, because this kind of control changes everything. Number 10. They study people like systems, not stories. Most people walk through life believing what they're told. He's just like that. She has a strong personality. That's just how they are. They take people at face value, accepting the story without questioning the structure. But Sigma males, they don't see personalities, they see patterns. They study people like systems, inputs, outputs, triggers, scripts. And once they understand the system, they know exactly how to navigate it or break it. To a Sigma, human behavior is code, not magic, not mystery. Just a series of if this then that scenarios shaped by fear, desire, insecurity, habit, and ego. He doesn't get swept up in how someone seems. He watches what they do, how they react when they're challenged, what makes them light up, what makes them fold, what they avoid, what they repeat. All of it is data. Let's say he meets someone who's always dominating conversations. Most people would label them as confident. But a Sigma is asking himself, what are they overcompensating for? Why do they need control? Where's the weak spot? While others are busy being impressed or annoyed, the Sigma is already mapping the person's psychological blueprint. This doesn't mean he's cold. It means he's strategic. He doesn't waste energy trying to change people. He simply adjusts his approach or his distance. It's like a coder who doesn't argue with broken software. He just rewrites the script or walks away from the glitch. That's what makes Sigmas so hard to fool. They see beneath the surface. They don't fall for charm, titles, or noise. They study what runs people, not what people say runs them. So if you've ever felt like you can spot the real motives behind the mask, like you're constantly analyzing while others are just reacting, you're not overthinking, you're decoding. That's Sigma thinking. That's how the quiet ones end up knowing everything. Number 11. They master the art of psychological jujitsu. Sigma males don't fight battles the way most people do. They don't raise their voice to win an argument. They don't challenge egos head-on or try to prove they're right. Instead, they use something far more effective: psychological jujitsu. The art of using someone's own energy, arrogance, or emotion against them, without ever getting their hands dirty. See, most people are reactive. If someone gets loud, they get louder. If someone throws shade, they throw it back. But Sigmas stay calm, unbothered. They let people overextend, over-explain, overcompensate, and then quietly watch them unravel. Imagine someone trying to bait a Sigma into a fight, maybe in a meeting, maybe in a relationship. Instead of rising to it, the Sigma listens, nods, lets the person keep talking, and somewhere in that silence the other person gets uncomfortable. They reveal too much. They contradict themselves. They fall into their own emotional trap. All the Sigma had to do was stand still and let the storm burn itself out. That's the trick. Sigmas know that direct resistance only makes insecure people dig in deeper. So instead, they redirect. If someone tries to flex status, they act unimpressed. If someone tries to dominate a conversation, they ask a quiet question that makes them think twice. If someone tries to control, they remove themselves and leave the other person controlling nothing. It's not passive, it's surgical. Sigmas dismantle egos without ever throwing a punch. Why? Because they don't care about winning in the moment. They care about understanding the moment, and using that understanding to position themselves miles ahead. If you've ever chosen silence over shouting or calm over chaos, that wasn't weakness. That was precision. That was psychological jujitsu. And in the long run, that kind of mastery always wins. Keep watching. The loudest one in the room rarely holds the real power. In conclusion, you don't have to be loud to be powerful. You just have to be clear about who you are and what you will not tolerate. The world tries to tell you that to be strong, you have to be seen, that to be respected, you have to speak up the most, fit in the best, and constantly prove your worth. But Sigma males move differently, and that difference is their edge. They do not play by society's rules. They watch quietly, think deeply, and make moves that most people never see coming. They do not follow the herd because they are too focused on building something the crowd will never understand. Not because they think they are better, but because they know they are meant for more. Sigma males are not cold because they lack feeling. They are cold because they refuse to waste emotion on things that drain them. They do not chase attention because they know silence, when earned, speaks louder than noise. And they do not fear being alone. They use it as a weapon to sharpen themselves. Every lesson you have just heard is a piece of that mindset. And whether you see yourself fully in the Sigma role or not, there is something here for everyone. You do not have to be like everyone else to win. In fact, sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to step away, reset, and rebuild on your own terms. So if any part of this hit home, if you've ever felt out of place, misunderstood, or too focused for the noise around you, this message was for you. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are building something they cannot see yet. Keep watching. The next level is quiet, but it changes everything. Thank you for watching. God bless you.